Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. We're coming up to Thanksgiving. I would like to pray to the God of dislikes for two things, and these two are both very abstract subjects, so hopefully my viewers can understand it. The first one is probably best understood with an example. I hope to do some traveling this Thanksgiving, like a lot of other people are, and unfortunately, I travel alone. And a lot of times, I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Google this. Google a list of destinations you could probably get to from Phoenix in 10 hours or so, because that's where the good stuff starts, right? 2, 3 hours, you can't really do anything fun with that, right? From Phoenix. Okay, now try to imagine driving 10 hours by yourself in one day or even 2 days. By the time you get to all the fun places along the way, right? Along the way, there's going to be fun uh, views to look at, or maybe a stargazing event, depending on the time of the year, and you're just exhausted. Let me give you an example. I used to live in Seattle, Washington, and my favorite place to go stargazing was Wild Horses Monument. You can Google that. There's a ledge, and then all the everything would rise and set along the edge there, and I caught several lunar eclipses there. I caught the Great Conjunction in 2020 there as well, and the uh, quite a few things if I remember correctly. I used to love it when the moon would come near the Beehive constellation because I could never figure out where the Beehive constellation is otherwise. But there would be a conjunction between the moon and that, and then I would aim toward the moon and do a 15-30 second exposure on my camera. And the thing is that I would go there, stay up, view those things. Oftentimes I would collapse and sleep in my car. Now, you might think, yeah, that's nice, sleep under the stars. You gotta remember, stargazing events happen year round. Sometimes when I wake up, I'd be freezing. Other times I'd wake up and I would be burning. And sometimes I had to work after that, rushing back, right? I distinctly remember at one point I was teaching at Washington Technology University. I had a 6 p.m. class, if I remember correctly. After a stargazing event like that, I had collapsed, and now it was like 2 in the afternoon, and I had to head back. I was burning to death, if I remember correctly. This was summer of 2019, and things like that really detracted from my. I remember thinking of it as a stargazing hangover, and I literally called it that, if I remember correctly. The concept that you had to catch up on sleep after a stargazing event. And one time, I really hated stargazing hangovers. One time, I made sure after a 2 a.m., 3 a.m. viewing, I actually tried to drive back anyway to avoid that so I could get back to my place to sleep. And it did not turn out very well. Let's just say I'm glad I'm still alive after attempting to do that. Anyway, so I would like to pray for the God of dislikes to just take the wheel of my car and drive me to Yosemite this Thanksgiving. I know it sounds weird, but be nice to have a trip without the hangover. It really would be. It really would be. Now, the other thing I want to pray, this one is probably a lot more relatable. I have a difficult time with all sorts of networking. You guys remember how it was when I re entered the dating scene last year. But even with professional networks, yesterday I tried to go to a Friendsgiving event where there were a lot of other faculty and there were students there as well. And at the table, I find that none of the eyes will look toward me for some, and that was a similar experience I had with the dating scene. I would like for the God of dislikes to do whatever it is that makes me unattractive or whatever. I would like for the God of dislikes to do some invisible plastic surgery if that's what it takes. All right. Anyway, there's two pieces of soreness of mine. They're not necessarily deal breakers in my life, but they're a significant soreness, right? That so much of Phoenix is totally inaccessible because of the limitations of being single. Plus, whatever the situation is with my appearance or body chemistry, that keeps me single, so that I can't make it to Yosemite. Right? Think of it as a wall. Right? Think of it. Think of being whatever the unattractiveness of myself is. Think of that as acting as a wall, limiting my vacation options. Right? That's the best analogy I can think of. Right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.